Hello everyone, this is Warhawk Beyond 2040 bringing to you a brand new awesome yet crazy theory, and this latest theory video that I've decided to put together came from a conversation that me and one of my good friends, who we all know as Geek Beyond, had just a few days ago. And it involved the DCAU, and we were just throwing out a bunch of different things about certain characters we never got to see in the DCAU, or if we did see them very briefly, why didn't we see them in a much larger role? So I thought this would be a great idea to come up with a theory video involving perhaps the most iconic of the Green Lanterns, the one and only Hal Jordan. So I am going to come up with my theory on what's happened to Hal Jordan in the DCAU. So we're going to have a brief look at Hal Jordan's history in the comic books and in the media. Since making his debut in Comic Showcase issue 22 in 1959, Hal Jordan is considered by many to be the most iconic of the Green Lanterns. And he is the first one that everybody thinks of when you talk about the Green Lantern. And Green Lantern has had a number of appearances in the media. He made his first appearance in 1967 as part of the DC Filmation series, where he had a number of shorts, and he was also part of the Justice League of America shorts, where he was a prominent member of the team with the Flash, Atom, Superman, Hawkman, and a number of other iconic DC characters. And he also had a much bigger role in the 1978 Super Friends animated series, where he played a big role in a number of episodes, and this was the only time that we ever got to see the Green Lantern Hal Jordan version work with many of the iconic names of the DC universe. And he was also referenced in Superman the Animated Series Season 3 in an episode called In Brightest Day, where we saw Kyle Rayner become the Green Lantern, and all you got really was just his name that was featured on a beaten up old jet. So it does make you wonder that Hal Jordan does actually exist in the DCAU. But we wouldn't get to see Hal Jordan appear in the DCAU until Justice League Unlimited Once and Future Thing Part 2. And basically, this was due to Kronos messing with the timeline, and it resulted in John Stewart becoming Hal Jordan, just for a few minutes. And this was the only time that we ever got to see Hal Jordan in the DCAU, although it wasn't official in that sense. For those brief few minutes, we actually got to see Hal Jordan interact with Warhawk, Static Shock, both Batmen, and he played a big role in trying to stop Kronos from destroying time. But that was it. We never actually officially got to see Hal Jordan appear in the DCAU apart from that brief moment in the Once and Future Thing Part 2. So now it does beg the question, what exactly happened to Hal Jordan in the DCAU? Why didn't we see him, and why was he never referenced? So this is where my theory on what's happened to Hal Jordan in the DCAU will come into play. So what I would have is an episode which features a flashback taking place before the events of the Justice League Secret Origins 3-part pilot, and we would see all of the Green Lanterns on Oa trying to look for a Green Lantern to send to Earth to help the heroes fend off the White Martian invasion. And obviously their first choice is going to be Hal Jordan, and when they're unable to reach him, they run into a state of panic and say to themselves, where's Hal Jordan? What's happened to him? Why isn't he answering? So they would send John Stewart in his place to go and help the Justice League on Earth. Now what I would also have is John Stewart and Hal Jordan were very close friends, and I would have Hal Jordan was the one mentoring John Stewart in his younger days when he was first recruited as a member of the Green Lantern Corps. And I would also have a situation where they were going up in space and exploring, and both got separated due to a yellow cloud, which would become fear that Sinestro is known for. So Hal Jordan would get lost, and he would end up getting corrupted, which would result in him becoming Parallax. So while John Stewart is on Earth helping the Justice League, I would have in an episode like in Blackest Night, but instead of John Stewart being put on trial for the destruction of a planet, I would have John Stewart be held on trial for the disappearance of Hal Jordan. And while this is going on, various members of the Green Lantern Corps end up turning against John Stewart and accusing him of trying to kill one of their own. And John Stewart, of course, says, "Look, I don't know what happened to Hal Jordan. I looked everywhere for him. I couldn't find him. All I found was his ring." And Kilowog could say, "Yeah, kind of funny, isn't it, that as soon as Hal Jordan disappeared, you become the Green Lantern? Pardon us if it kind of looks a little bit fishy, John Stewart." And John Stewart could say, "Listen, I've been a Green Lantern for many years. I've served alongside each and every one of you. You've all fought by my side. Why would I want to take out one of our own? We're all in this together. It just doesn't make sense." The last thing I remember, Hal Jordan and I were up in space and we got separated due to this yellow cloud, and that was it. I couldn't find him. I searched every part of the galaxy to look for Hal Jordan. Nobody has even seen him. I've even had to ask Sinestro, of all people, whether he had something to do with it, and Sinestro has been locked up in prison for years. He knows nothing about this. And all of the Green Lanterns could say, "Yeah, well, as far as we're concerned, when the Guardians make their final decision, you'll no longer be one of us. You're not worthy of being a Green Lantern. You're not fit to wear the Emerald Ring, John Stewart, and once the Guardians see that for themselves, you'll no longer be part of the Corps." And as John Stewart is waiting to hear the verdict on the disappearance of Hal Jordan, we then see Kyle Rayner burst in and say, "Hold on a second, before you do anything, we've just got a signal from outer space, and it looks like it matches the signal of Hal Jordan, and it looks like he's coming here." But what everybody doesn't realise is that the Hal Jordan that is coming to Oa isn't the Green Lantern Hal Jordan, it's Parallax, who was corrupted after his disappearance in outer space with John Stewart. So John Stewart could turn around and say to the Guardians, "Now do you believe me?" And the Guardians can say, "It seems we've made an error of misjudgment, John Stewart. We will hand you back your ring. Will you help us defend Oa against Parallax?" And John Stewart could say, "I'll defend Oa, but not for you, but for myself. After this is done, I'm leaving the Corps and I'm staying with the Justice League. I'd rather be with a team of heroes that respect me and trust me, not people who would doubt me just for something that had nothing to do with me." And the Guardians could say, "We understand, John Stewart. Do what you have to do, but please save Oa from Parallax before all of us are corrupted." And then we would see Parallax taking on the entire Green Lantern Corps, led by John Stewart, and we would see Parallax eventually defeated after a long battle, and John Stewart would eventually leave the Green Lantern Corps and rejoin the other members of the Justice League on Earth. But the Guardians of Oa don't strip him of his power, because Green Lantern power cannot be stripped away unless they would switch to the dark side of fear. So although John Stewart walks out of the Green Lantern Corps, the Guardians of Oa decide not to take his Emerald Ring away because John Stewart willingly stepped down instead of turning to the dark side. And that's pretty much my theory on what's happened to Hal Jordan in the DCAU. Now, if this was to actually happen, would you have Hal Jordan appear in the DCAU as Parallax, or would you do it a different way? How would you address the disappearance of Hal Jordan, and how would you explain his absence in the DCAU? You know what to do, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave your thoughts and comments down below, and I will see all of you next time. So until then, take care everybody and stay safe, and once again, thanks for listening. And one final thing that I would also like to say is this theory video was dedicated to my good buddy Geeker Beyond, who came up with the idea of having Hal Jordan becoming Parallax in the DCAU and having a connection to John Stewart. So hope he likes it.